Okay, 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 okay. Eh. Grief, loss, pain during difficult times while you're a business owner. Like, how are we supposed to manage the two? Grief and loss are inevitable. Pain in life, it's inevitable. We can't change it. Life be lifing. And as a woman entrepreneur, we still have to show up in our business to make money, show up in the house, help others. There's so many roles that we play as women naturally, and you add on being a business owner with that. And so trying to figure out how to balance the two can be hard. In this video, I want to talk about how I am navigating through grief and through loss, through a difficult time, and still showing up for the business as best as I can. This is a real and raw video. One thing I'm really clear about is this is real time. This is my life. This is me. This is my being. This is happening. And I know that if I was to watch this video in 2 years, I'm probably going to have new things to say. I might disagree with some things I say. I don't know. And then if I watch this in 20 years, same thing. I might disagree with some things I say in 2 years, So I am really open to the fact that this video is capturing me in a moment in time. And I know that it's interesting because I feel like when you go through things, especially as someone who has been very growth minded, always working on my mindset, always pouring into myself from a self development standpoint throughout my life, even when I didn't even know it, I've always had this perspective that certain emotions are temporary. Like if you have a failed launch, if you have something in your business not go as you planned, if you have a breakup, like there's certain things that have been I'm like, okay, that's a temporary emotion. I'll get over that. However, this emotion right here, I will never get over. So for those that are new to me, if you don't necessarily follow me, I know a lot of my clients know this. On May 22nd, 2024, I lost my grandmother. And it's amazing because I actually went to see her the first week of May when Mike and I got back from our vacation. And I have a video clip, and out of all the video quality, this particular video, I was trying to hold our smoothies. I got me, her, and my mom smoothies. And I was trying to hold the smoothie and hold our lunch in a bag and open the door all at the same time because I was surprising my grandmother. And my mother knew I was coming, and I should have asked somebody to open up the door. And so the video is a little rocky. Hi, Grandma. Hi, girl. Oh, I forgot Grandpa. Dang it. Hi, Grandpa.
I know this is the last days, but boy.
What, Grandma? You know this is the last days. What's going on? But I'm so grateful for that. And I'm still processing. It's still early. I'm in the first month of this. So I wanted to do this video because I just felt like I needed to. And I also know there'll be layers to this video. And I thank you in advance for your understanding, for your relatability, for your love. I was going to say patience, but for some reason that's not feeling right to me. I don't think I need to thank you for your patience because I am not the only one going through this. I am really clear that grief comes in all forms. There's grief of a loved one, right? Whether it's your parent, your grandparent, partner, etc. So there's death, right? There's grief from a breakup where you and your partner in a romantic sense are no longer together. There is grief when there's an end or a shift in a relationship. And that could be romantic too, but like a friendship, or like if it's a cousinship, or if it's a sistership, or whomever in your family, right? There's your family, your friends, there's dynamics that shift. And so my hope is that this video is so much bigger in this moment than me grieving the loss of my grandmother only, but really this is me speaking to myself in other difficult times emotionally that I've had in my business and how I've navigated through that and how I'm reflecting on that and using that this time around. And I hope that it is inspiring to you, because there's difficult times that are going to happen when life is just life. I even think about, like, there's death and there's like breakups and shifts, like I said, in relationships, but there's even like there's some little disagreement. It doesn't even have to be anything big. It's just energy, or like I'm about, my energy, my womanly cycle is in a space where I'm like, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want to deal with these two dogs. I need a moment to myself, which thank God we have been honoring me time in this household. But my point is, like, there are times where things are difficult, whether it's something all the way like death, or whether it's just like a shift in a current relationship, or something in that regard. And so again, I just want to talk about how I navigate difficult situations slash how I am navigating this life-changing time. So I want to give you a couple. It's so hard for me to say tips. I'm just going to give you a couple of my experiences of what I am doing, what I have done, and what I'm inviting myself to do. And I would really love in the comments of this video if you share, have you experienced death and grief and loss as a business owner? And what was something that helped you? I want this to be helpful for not just those listening to me. Give me some ideas too. So I can't wait to see your comments on anything that you want to share below. So I have notes, y'all, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking at these notes because I just want to go through what I've made notes on and then elaborate on some things. So the very first thing that I wanted to talk about is acknowledging and accepting my emotions. That is going to be the first thing I would recommend to anyone. And for me, it's really having self-compassion and giving myself grace for the fact that I am a human being, and giving myself permission to grieve when I need to grieve, to cry when I need to cry, to laugh when I need to laugh. Sometimes I feel like I had a moment where, y'all let me know if you can relate. I had something that I was inspired to say on my social media, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm grieving right now. I can't really post that because this is raw, y'all. What if my family thinks I'm over it? What if my family thinks that I didn't care and I don't love my grandmother because I posted a video too quick? I have a weekly episode that comes out on YouTube. My videos were already scheduled during the core 2 weeks of us planning the services and having the services. And so some people may be like, oh my gosh, she has like videos coming out? I thought she was at a funeral or whatever it is. And so obviously that stuff is already scheduled. But I still have this level of like, there was other things I wanted to say. And so I felt this conflict about like, well, does my content have to be about grief and like what I'm experiencing right now? And I really am giving myself grace with that. Like, you know what? It's my goddamn on social media. I can post what I want to post when I want to post it. Some of my posts have been about grief. And in some way, thank God that, and I'll talk about this in a moment, but I happen to do work that I do feel in some way connects back to some of the things that I want to express as far as grief. And really, that's about messaging. Messaging really is expression. I help clients when they're in difficult times extract that and understand, not what is the word, not like expose it. I don't know what word I'm thinking of, but not like oh my gosh, I can't think of it, but not like put it out in a way that it's like sleazy, but put it out in a way that like it's real and it's raw, and this is what I'm experiencing. And it just so happens that people in the audience, in your particular audience, so I know people in my audience resonate with that. I even want to invite you to kind of think about, what are times where you start to second guess what you want to talk about or what you want to share because of other people's perception. And at the end of the day, I was like, God knows exactly where I'm at. Yesterday it was just it's like random moments. And I don't know if random is the best word, but it's like random moments of emotion. I was fine yesterday, and then all of a sudden there was a good 10-minute period where I could not stop crying. It's like it comes and it goes. And so I'm just honoring that if I want to express something, I'm going to express it when I want to express it. I'm not going to filter myself. Now, as a messaging person, I do understand that things can be confusing with your audience. So I do have a little, I don't know if it's a trick, it's an art, it's a science, but I'll talk about that in my second point. But first, I want to finish up this around like acknowledging and accepting your emotions. So I also wanted to mention, we actually, okay, God, there's so many things in my head. When you do work that is extremely tied to your calling and your assignment, I am so grateful. It was hard for me to get back into the office the first week, well, the first 2 weeks, but into week 3, I finally was like, okay. And y'all, if I ever have questioned my work, I know that might be strange to some people. Like, Kiara, you have questioned your work? Yes, I have, sis. There have been times, I've been full-time 8 years. I've been in the entrepreneur journey, my entrepreneur journey for 10 years at the time of this recording. And people think that you get over all the things. And it's like, no. I feel like as you're growing and as you're like growing and expanding and evolving, like it actually has new layers of it. My point is, my first full week coming back into the office, my first money in the message call, right? So we have support every week. And so in the call, I don't know that any of this is going to happen. I just show up. And I said, okay, today I feel good to show up for this. I feel excited actually to show up for this. And on the call, one of my clients, one of the members of Money in the Message actually brought up a situation that happened with her daughter, and her daughter needing some emergency medical attention like the Friday before, and how she had to get out of business mode and go into mom mode and like go into full support of her baby, and how it actually was difficult for her for the last couple of days to like get back into business mode because she was so focused on her baby. Plus there was like some follow-up appointments that was needed. So her mind is in mommy mode. And so she wanted to get some coaching around Kiara. Like it's feeling really hard to get my mindset, my messaging, my coaching, like my stuff into this zone. I didn't know that she wanted to talk about that. How would I know that? And so I was real and I said, oh, well, hey, welcome, And then there was another member on the call who actually lost her dad within the last couple of months. I'm using that as an example, and I want to honor my confidentiality with my clients in that regard. But I just want to say, how many times do we feel like we have to do this work alone? And especially when you are an expert, a thought leader, a speaker, consultant, right? You are amazing at what you do. You feel like you have to put on some facade to show up. And so one, I feel so blessed that I do work where my women understand a part of us going into their next level messaging is them being vulnerable in moments like this. Because I've actually had clients, literally, I have a client who does a lot of coaching. And one of the areas is she touches on is relationship coaching within her work, her trauma-based work. And she was in the middle of a divorce. No, I'm not a therapist. And I forgot to say this in the beginning. I'm not a therapist. I am not a mental health professional, but I am someone who has spent years on my own personal development. And so my hope is that these are practical tips, a level of support for you. And when I'm coaching clients, I'm coaching from a mindset standpoint, but I am not a mental health professional at this time. I want to be clear on that. I do recommend having professional help if that's something you feel like you need. I am an advocate of therapy. I had my therapist appointment on the other day. I actually did it in the backyard on the hammock because that's what felt good for me. Like I didn't want to do it in an office. Usually I go physically to her, but this one was virtual and I just wanted to do it outside. So definitely advocate of that. But my point is, when it comes to my call, I felt like, God, one, you have me covered because it's so many lessons in that one moment. You're bringing me women that I'm supporting and I'm also going through something. But then I realized, wait a minute, we're going through something similar. It's not the same in regards to she had a loss, but it's a very difficult emotional time where your mind is not on business. Your mind is not on, let me go create a reel. Your mind is not on, let me go put out content. Your mind is not on that necessarily. And so I felt really blessed that I got to have that conversation. And so I want to save a lot of the coaching that I do in my coaching space. But here's what I will tell you that I talked about with them that I wanted to offer to you if you are dealing with this too. I am okay with the fact that I may never be the same in regards to I will not have a grandmother. I won't. I can have grandmother figures, everything, but I won't have a grandmother again. And so that's a part of me that my grandmother's my second mom. For some that have lost a parent, like you won't have a mother or a father again, right? You could have figures, but not them. If there was a child loss, like I just understand I won't have that again. And so it's interesting because her question for coaching was like, how do I get back to old me and all these things? And I said, what? And I'm speaking, and I'm very clear with my clients. I tell them, listen, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself. What if I'm not meant to go back to my old self? I feel like sometimes when it's loss, grief, difficult moments, whatever it is, we're so like, how do I get back to the thing? And it's like, but you just had this thing happen. And what if it's meant to propel you forward? What if it's not meant for you to be the same way as before? And so I want to offer that to you. And we did deeper coaching into that. And it was a really beautiful and powerful, powerful conversation. And I'm so blessed. Of course, we talked about other things. There was some messaging clarity and content and testimonial feedback that I needed to give some clients on some tweaks and stuff like that. From a strategy standpoint, but it's always beautiful because my clients know they can bring mindset stuff because all of this affects your messaging. So what ended up happening after us coaching through the mindset stuff was some messaging support around. So now that we went through this, and this, we actually turned it into content, and she actually went and put out content right after. And it's so amazing that it's like you come to the call and you're like, I'm not inspired. And then you get off and you be real about what's going on in real life. And then you understand, oh, I just put that into my content. So we were able to actually connect the dots between the work that she does and how that correlates to her work. So for example, for her and for anyone, if you're a mom, well, I want you to go back to, well, why do you have this business? What is this business here to do? Isn't this business so that you don't have to go ask no manager for time off while you go and you take care of your babies? Like, isn't that why you have this business? And even for me, I didn't have to go and ask for bereavement. I didn't have to go and ask for time off. I didn't have to go do that. I was able to shift some calls and go. And so I don't have to ask for how many days off and how do I need this and how do I need that. There's this level of like gratitude as an entrepreneur when we're dealing with these situations that we do have this flexibility. And so she was able to kind of finesse that back into her content. Don't rush into getting back to you. Be okay with what the new you is here for and like what's being presented to you now. Okay, so here is the next thing I wanted to talk about. Speaking about it. Now, I am a natural speaker, talker. I literally, when I was a little girl, used to sit like this, but in a closet in my bedroom, talk to myself, journal, write poems, all the things. And so I thrive from that. That is how I express myself. Even if I am driving down the street, I pretend I'm talking to Oprah. I pretend I'm talking to God. I pretend I'm talking to who? Well, you don't have to pretend you're talking to God. You know what I mean? But like, I'll be having conversations with me, myself, and I, and him. Okay. I'm saying that to say that I know that that is my outlet. And so understand what your outlet is. My outlet is talking. So talking therapy helps me. Talking to a trusted friend, talking to my best friend, talking to my partner, Mike, talking to family members, talking to journaling to me is a form of talking. It's me writing out what I'm saying. Now, also, I always tell clients too, you can do voice journaling. There are times like, oh, my old phone, I had to get new storage in it. But my old phone, I had hundreds. Y'all, when I started deleting, so I was so sad. But we had hundreds of voice notes inside of like one of my phones. And it's because I would put my voice note on and I would talk to myself because that is how I express. I totally have Voxer. If you use Voxer, the app, it's, walkie-talkie app. I totally have a Voxer chat with me, myself, and I, like with myself, because I would Voxer myself. So when I tell y'all, like the most important conversation that you will ever have, besides of whom you have faith, is with yourself. I really mean it. And so I get a lot out of just talking, even doing this video right here, like the fact that like, I'm so proud of myself right now because I have not cried. I prepped, I was like, okay. It took me a minute to like, literally, I just sat here, for a second. So, but talking really helps me. I know that's why I'm a natural speaker and video creator and things like that. So obviously talking to God, having prayer is so, so important. Also creative things. So I have found myself since my grandmother passed, I have felt this is going to sound interesting, but I am feeling more connected to Mike. And I know that there's still processing happening here. But what I mean is like watching my grandfather, he was telling this story when we were planning the funeral with the funeral director about like, because the guy was like, this is who you bag. Actually, I do have, this is my grandparents right here. We'll put a better picture. But this is me with my grandpa when I was a little girl. But anyway, the guy was like, you bagged her. And so he was like talking about the day that they met or whatever. So anyway, just to watch that love, decades and decades and decades and decades of love, it's like really beautiful. And I always thought that, but watching this new navigation of loss though for him, it's just like, it's different, y'all. It's hitting different. So it's causing me to, this was already something happening as I step into my 30s, as I mentally am like, okay, like, motherhood is coming at some point, in the future. So I was already having these thoughts, but like this has like heightened it in a way that I cannot explain. So maybe I'll be able to explain it in the future, but that's what I got for you right now. Let me know if anybody else can resonate with that. I am feeling this calling to like softer sides of me. Again, I've already been having these thoughts and these feelings. Like over the last year or two, I have found myself allowing softer sides for me. And that's from, being raised by a single mother, not having a father, like being very independent, being self-reliant was how I thrive. And to be in a space where I have a partner who is there and wants to be there and loves to be there, it's been a challenge for me, I'll be honest. And I know Mike and I have been together for 10 years, but it has taken me 10 years to allow myself this type of love and to allow myself this type of safetyness. And I felt this already before the loss of my grandmother. But what I'm expressing is that since it's been a little different, it's been this like recognizing what really matters type of thing, and watching her and her love with my grandfather and my grandfather love with her, and like just even thinking about him, like I was like, okay, I want to text him in the mornings to say good morning because he doesn't have somebody to say good morning to him. My grandfather has Parkinson's and he also has like a nerve issue with his hand, so I showed him how to do the voice to text thing. And so he sent me like an audio back the other morning and was like, it's going to be a great day. And it's just really beautiful to see that. So it's causing me to be in this love of love, which is crazy. And like, why does death have to do that? Again, I was already in that zone, but this is one of those moments where it's like, this is inviting me to see more and more of what really, really matters. And then I'm prioritizing my space. I literally cleared out, like I had a rack full of clothes and I cleared it out. I wanted to wake up this morning and like not have any clothes anywhere. And I felt really proud of that. I have a chase on the side of my bed. And that felt really good. I vacuumed underneath the basement stairs, which I never ever do. I did that yesterday. So it's definitely causing me, like I said, there's this softer, this like feminine, there's this like taking care of my house. There's this like, I want to take care of. That's what it is. There's this, I want to take care of kind of energy going on. Mike does a lot of cooking in our house. I would say he does like 60% of cooking. I do like 40% of the cooking. He does a lot of dinners. I do a lot more breakfasts. But yesterday I made lasagna and he was like, man, it feels so weird for me to not cook on a Sunday. Wanting to take care of, but then also having the balance of wanting moments for him to take care of me too. Here's the next thing I wanted to say. Do not fully isolate yourself. You need to come into community. So I actually have a term for this. Internal time versus isolation time. So internal time to me is the time that you are with yourself. You're going into yourself. You're having time with yourself. Isolation is being alone. I don't know where that came from. I used to take myself out on dates a lot more and like go to the movies and go out to dinner and all these things. And people would always say, oh, do you want to do things alone? And I was like, I'm just with myself. I'm not alone. I'm just with myself. So what I noticed, and I do have a friend of mine. She's also a client. Shout out to Carmen. She said to me, Kira, don't isolate. Just that because I'm a very self-regulated person, I do a lot of healing with myself, but I also understood there are times when I'm doing it by myself instead of with myself. So there's times I'm going into isolation instead of, oh, no, this is just internal time. So just being on the watch out. And that's really all I can say right now about that is you need to just observe it. Like you need to just watch it. You need to just pay attention to it. And like when you feel like you're doing too much of one, go and check in on the other. And so to me, the difference is if you're wondering like, what's the difference? An example for me, time with myself is me doing some self-care things. If I'm, going to get a massage, if I'm going to get my nails or hair done, or if I'm going to the movies. Today, I just went to Five and Below, like, just go to the store, Target, whatever that is. To me, that's like just having time with myself, going out to lunch with myself. I was going to go get some sushi, but I knew I had to come in and record videos, y'all, because I needed to. And so, and that was how I allotted my time for today. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to go get like lunch or whatever, but maybe I'll go on Friday or something like that. So those are like times with yourself, reading a book, being on the hammock, being on the hammock outside, reading a book, taking a bath. I took a long hot shower. I did like a deep exfoliation yesterday. So just like, or maybe it was Saturday night. Saturday night is when I did the exfoliation. Just being in a space with yourself versus being alone is like, I'm just in the house and I'm just endlessly watching stuff, but I'm not even present to what I'm watching. Because I want to be clear on like, I enjoy watching a good show. I may go lounge and watch a good show when I finish this, but there's a difference between like, I'm just staring at this and I'm not even present. I can't even tell you what happened in the movie. I can't even tell you what happened in the show, or I'm just mindlessly eating, which is something for me. Emotional eating is huge for me. I saw myself emotionally eating over the last week. And so it's like me being conscious and aware of it. So it's like to me where your mind is completely checked out, versus if I'm out and about and I'm doing something, is different. So that's how I define it. Let me know if you would add anything different to that. The other thing I wanted to say is let your clients know, do not hold it in. That also goes with that whole isolation thing. But really for me, that's kind of this like, oh, I'm an expert. I have to put myself on a pedestal. No one can know that I'm going through this. And so I go back to my client example. I had no knowledge of what my clients would have wanted to come on that particular call the other day and talk about, but me being open and vulnerable and letting them know was like really beautiful. And when you share things like that, it's amazing how many like DMs and comments or engagement or just like reach out. Don't feel like you have to do this alone. I hope that you have a community. I hope you have a mastermind, a friend group, accountability group, book club group. Like people in my book club have checked on me. I hope that you have community friends. You know, my best friend sent me, here, go get go do whatever you want to do with this money. Or Kira, I'm here to just talk to you for an hour. Kira, I'm here to just like, I videoed one of my best friends. I forgot how long we were on the phone, but like, I hope that you have community around you. If you don't, comment below. I would love to try to be some level of community for you. I hope too that like, I'm so grateful that I have created a mastermind space where again, we get to bring mindset stuff and real life stuff happening in addition to business stuff. Because the truth is, what this entire video is about is the fact that we are business owners, but we can't take off our woman hat. We can't take off our life hat. We can't take those things off. I can't take those off. So I have to bring them with me and show up to do the thing. And sometimes I'm going to be able to fully show up. And sometimes I got 40% of me. And sometimes it's going to be 90% of me or whatever it is. And so understanding that is okay and that's safe. Okay. And I'll talk about some business things that you could do in a second. Be open, share how you feel. Do not be afraid, because this is relatable to your audience too. And that's really important. So now the next section I wanted to go into was actually revisiting my why. I kind of started mentioning this earlier. I first wanted to talk about gratitude. This morning, I wrote a letter to God, and included in that letter were 10 things that I was grateful for. And I could go on, of course, there's more than 10 things I'm grateful for, but they were small things. They were small things like being grateful for my bed, for my pajamas, like being grateful for just taking a breath, being grateful for the fact that I have breakfast in my fridge, being grateful for the fact that I've never had to question, when is my mortgage going to get paid? Is it going to get paid? I've never had to, like, little things, like, they might not be little to other people, but when I say little, I just mean we are in an industry, at least for myself, for my clients, where we're like, I want to make $1,000 today. I want to make $5,000 today. I want to make $10,000 today. I want to have a 50K month. I want to have a 20K client, whatever those numbers might be for you. You know, you want to have a 6-figure year. So it's like sometimes we get into these spaces. I want to create 5 new videos. I want to put out 10 pieces of content. I want to put out 30. I want to have my team schedule 30 posts to go out for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is. And so it's like sometimes, and those things are important. I'm not saying that they aren't, but sometimes we get wrapped up as a business owner into those types of things. And so for me, it was like, wait a minute, there's things that I want to do like that, but then there's also more things I want to have, right? Mike and I are in a space where we're like, okay, we desire a new home. I am excited. I cannot wait to have my new bathroom. Okay, my new bathroom. I want my own sink, so I don't have to deal with him and his shaving. Or my new shower. We want to have an extra bedroom or 2 in our house. I'm really grateful. Obviously, one of our bedrooms, we've had as a guest room the whole time we lived here, and then we also have this extra room, which has been my office. But I'm like, listen, an extra bedroom or 2, as we think about our family, would feel really great. Bigger backyard space, different things, right? So there's like these bigger dreams that I have around a home. We transitioned we own both of our cars, and we've transitioned one car. Now we need to transition the next car soon. So it's, and then there's like different financial goals and like lifestyle goals and like more traveling we want to do. There's all these things that we desire to do. And so I find myself sometimes so into, well, are they happening fast enough? Things like that. And it's just like, wait a minute, I have more that I want, and I have much to be grateful for. And so I feel like with this grieving was this like level of gratitude. It started with me really being in a space of like, I am so grateful that I got my grandmother. I am so grateful. Like, if I could have any grandmother in the world, I am so grateful that the grandmother that I had the most beautiful heart, that she had the most beautiful smile. There's so many things. And I'm so grateful that she was mine. I'm so grateful that God chose to give her to me. And when I thought about this section on revisiting your why, she has invited me. She is not here, but she's still here, because she has invited me to go back to, okay, why did you create this business again? And if you haven't heard me share this story before, my grandmother has called me Miss Missy since I was 3 years old, because I guess I just always had something to say as a Miss Missy. And my grandfather also calls me Ma, like mom, but Ma. So my grandparents have always looked at me very highly. And I put out a post, when it, closer to when it happened. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. I'm not sure, y'all. And I said something about like how grandparents, they must see us. And I believe that. I believe that like our when you're a parent, you do things, you're trying, you're learning, this is your first time. And when you're a grandparent, I feel like you now are like, oh, I know what to change. I know what to do different. I know how to tweak things. And so I just feel like there's this way that you see your grandchildren different than how you saw your kids, And so my grandmother was a great grandmother. And I got to have her for 34 years. For 34 years. She was mine. She was mine. She was mine. She was mine. And to just, I can go on and on, y'all, but basically just like being in gratitude of that invited me to go into a space of, you need to be more grateful. And it's like, I have these reminders in life all the time. I feel that I'm a very grateful person, but I don't think there's ever an issue with you being more and more and more grateful. I don't think there's ever an issue with that. God wants that. So, write a gratitude letter for whomever you feel like you lost. Write a gratitude letter. And for this one right here, I'm gonna go beyond just death. There are times where in my relationship, if we're having like a tough moment, I understand, okay, I am grateful for this moment. This is meant for us to grow. This is meant for us to expand together. This is meant to bring us closer. This is meant for whatever thing that this is meant for. If there's a challenge in your business, okay, wait a minute, what is this teaching me? What is it showing me? Like, to have a spirit of gratitude is so big. And like I said, I always have this, but it's like, I don't think you could ever go deeper into it. I don't think there's never enough gratitude. With that being said, it's also invited me, like being grateful, to like think about lessons from her, which I'll probably talk more about. But in short, there is something brewing in me where I understand, going back to her calling me Miss Missy, there was a voice that she saw in me, even when I didn't see it in myself. There was a light. I There was a light that she saw in me that sometimes I didn't see. And it's so interesting, because I said to Mike the other day, I said, oh, there's so many questions I want to ask her now. And Mike, if you know me, you know Kira's a talker. And I be having a lot of questions since I was a little girl. When I was 7 years old, my uncle told me, you need to be a lawyer or Oprah, because you just ask questions and you're nosy. But now my joke is, and my clients have heard this, oh, I get paid thousands of dollars to ask a lot of questions, because those questions lead places. But it's like Mike said, babe, I think you asked her enough questions for a lifetime. And we laughed. And I'm sure I did. But I said, babe, they weren't the right questions. Like, there's so many questions that I have now. It's like questions about relationships, questions about motherhood, questions about womanhood that I want to ask about. It's funny, because the last time I saw her, I was asking her questions about like a family tree, and I actually was asking her the city that she was born in, which is so interesting, because some of my aunts did not know that city, and I knew it to put it in the obituary, because I had just asked her literally, 2 weeks before. So anyway, there's lessons that have come from her. There are lessons that are still coming from her. And I wish I could have more conversations with her, but I don't feel like they're completely done. So I'm calling them Linda's lessons. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Right now, I'm thinking there's a couple ideas that I have of like master classes and experiences I want to do inside of Money in the Message around this. But there's something for me around the fact that I had a very, she was outspoken, but she was still classy though. And so it's like, how did you master that? Because sometimes I'm real outspoken and I'm over here. And it's like, I could get like, okay, I want to come over here. Versus my mom. My mom is not as outspoken at all. So my mother and my grandmother are like a little opposite. And my therapist actually said this to me, which I've always felt like I'm the mixture of the women that raised me. Like my 3 aunts that mostly raised me and my grandmother. I feel like I am the mix of the 4 of them for sure. But particularly with my mother and my grandmother, one was more outspoken, one was not. And so I'm like the combo where I like am very outspoken and then I have some moments where I'm not. And so those lessons though, as I think more about it, it's crazy because I'm like, when I already knew this, but again, it's like remembering your why on a different level. I do messaging work and it never was supposed to be only because of sales. Sales is my trade, but messaging, expression is my gift. It's my calling. It's my assignment. And I just merge the two. And sometimes I might go real left and stay on the strategy sales part. And then sometimes I come back to, wait a minute, there's a deeper thing that's needing to be expressed here. This woman is trying to go sell something that's not in alignment with her. This woman is trying to go talk about something that's not really alignment in her voice. This woman is trying to go be something that is not who she's meant to be, or whatever it is. There's something with her brand, with her message, with what she's offering, with what she's selling that's not in alignment. And it doesn't mean she's fake or like she's a fraud or anything like that. It's actually sometimes she doesn't feel safe. Her voice doesn't feel safe. Her expression doesn't feel safe. She doesn't feel heard. She doesn't feel seen. And so there's like a lineage part of that where if we look at our mothers and we look at our grandmothers and we look at the use of their voice or lack thereof and how that connects to our visibility. Like I've always done this visibility mindset work. This is why I'm always telling people like, and if you don't know money in the message, yes, there's a ton of messaging and sales strategy that we go into to monetize your message. But the foundation of that is you being in this deep connection with your expression, with your voice, your power message. It's not just your message, it's your power message. It's connected to your calling and your gift and your assignment, the deeper parts of what you are here to talk about and share and be known for and all the things. Ugh. So Linda's lesson is all wrapped in that. But I've always known that. Like I've always known that. But what I'm expressing is there's this deeper reminder. And y'all, I'm going to be so honest right now. Y'all, this is her hat. If you were thinking that is not Jack's. This is my grandmother's hat. And this is her silk scarf. I have this is my grandmother's shirt too. I forgot to mention. This is my grandmother's shirt, her earrings. I have her jewelry on. Oh, it smells so good. So anyway, yeah, this is not Jack, y'all. This is like a hat. Now, I have braids in and they're thick, so I'm gonna have to try this on when I don't have braids in, but there are a ton of y'all. I had to take this one. Now, what type of Bridgerton party am I going to, y'all? What Bridgerton party am I going to be going to? Y'all, I don't even know. Is that right? All right, I'm going to have to get it right, y'all, but I'm going to hook this hat up. I know I'm not wearing it right. Hold on. Is the bow in the back? Oh. Like, okay, I love the style of the women in the 40s. Like, I just think it was so sophisticated, so beautiful. There's a certain picture where my grandmother has a hat. I don't have it printed out near me, but she had a hat that was so awesome. So anyway, hi grandma. Hi. Okay, let's just leave her hat there. Okay. There is something definitely brewing with that. And oh, I was saying that I've always done visibility mindset work. That's always been a pillar of my work. And it's just like there's this deeper level that I want to bring. And so I'm going to be doing a masterclass and like an experience inside of money in the message. I don't know if I'll open it up to public or not. If you would be interested, let me know. Type Linda's lessons. Type Linda's lessons. LINDA apostrophe S lessons. LESSONS. Linda's lessons. That's my grandmother's name. Her name is Linda. All right. So we got revisiting your why. So being grateful, tapping into lessons from whatever grief or loss. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, like whenever you feel like there's a loss, there's lessons. What do I need to learn from this? And another term I wanted to give you, if you're taking notes, is the invitation of intention. This is causing me to be super intentional about how I'm using my time, about what I'm focusing on. And it goes back to how is this thing serving me? But with that being said, I'm going to transition into my last section, which is about balancing business responsibilities. So notice I said the intention, invitation, right? The invitation of intention. What do I intentionally want to be working on? So that's connected to the remembering my why. But what I will say, oh, I was about to tell y'all this transparent moment. I love my business. I love the work that I do. I am so grateful that I have been able to build a full-time income with my business over the last 8 years, work for myself, have a team, talk to women all over the world. I'm so grateful. I have been wanting something else. It's not something else like completely different. I've been wanting more of something. I've been wanting more women who want to go through that visibility mindset part, who want to break through elements of their trauma around their voice, who want to, yes, they want the messaging to sell more powerfully, but it's because they're ready to show up and express themselves more powerfully. They're tired of not being seen. That's what shine, the shine strategist. My name, like my title, you can't see the shine on up there, but there's shine on up there. Like that's where shine always came from, was I wanted to help women shine in their light. And that's always been the case. I've always done that. But there's this like more that I'm wanting with it. And I feel like because sometimes I get bored with women who are like, I just want to make the sales and they don't have any internal transformation. So then they go and try to keep repeating the thing, but they haven't done any of the deeper work to create the transformation around who they are and how they're expressing and the permission they're giving themselves and all that. It gets boring. It can get boring to me. And I've been really grateful that I've been able to call in most clients who do desire that mindset layer with it. But I'm feeling this level of like God wanting me to do it more, which was why I knew this year I had to give myself YouTube. I had to give myself YouTube. I had to surrender over to what God was calling me to, no matter what the numbers look like, no matter any of it. I had to share my message with a bigger audience. I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of videos on Facebook, on other social media, but not YouTube. And so it was like, this is the year. Like, and that's a whole nother thing. Like, I wish I had got on YouTube 8 years ago, but I went to Facebook Live and said when Facebook Live first came out, which I'm not complaining. Okay. I at least made $500,000 on Facebook Live. But what I'm saying, like from that platform directly using that. But what I'm saying is like, that would have been one, way more money on YouTube, but it also would have been like more women. And I'm so grateful. Like I have been signing clients from YouTube. So if you're watching and you're wanting to work with me, I would love for you to join us. Go apply to work with me in the comments, in the description below. You'll see a link to apply. I'm so grateful. It's not that I'm not, it's just like I have been feeling this longing for more. And I don't know, I believe it's a combination of being in your 30s. I've heard somebody say 40s, you start not giving a ish, but 50s, you really don't give a ish, and 60s, ooh, ish what? Like give a crap about what anybody thinks or says or whatever. And I feel like I'm getting into that, of getting in this space where like I don't care about certain things that I used to care about anymore. There are certain vanity metrics I used to care about in business that I don't care about. There's certain vanity stuff in my life, in my personal life, whether it's like lifestyle stuff or like one, I've never cared about cars. I even signed a client, talk about being vulnerable and sharing things. I did a post once about how I have a Chevy Equinox, and somebody emailed me back and was like, I have a Chevy Equinox too. And everything you said in this email I resonate with, because I was basically saying like, I don't need to hire you because of what you drive. I'm not hiring you because you drive a BMW. I'm not hiring because you drive whatever you drive. I don't care what you drive, or Mercedes this or a Mercedes that, because I've never had a thing with cars. And so the person was like, oh my God, I resonate with this so much. How do I work with you? Y'all, when I tell y'all, when you start telling those transparent things, it is so amazing. There's some things I've never really kind of cared about. And then there's some things that I didn't care about that I care about now, and vice versa. Prioritizing things like my home, prioritizing things like my best friend, she was in her robe the other day and I was in my robe. And I was like, girl, I'm in my robe too. And I was like, it's so amazing to be in this stage in life where like we're in our robe. It's the middle of a Saturday. I'm not worried about going out and doing this and doing that. I enjoy my home. And it's not isolation. It's not me being alone. It's literally me being in internal space. Like I'm in my space and I love my space and I got to create my space. And I feel like when I was little, we lived in the projects, low income housing and all that. I feel like I created this love for travel, which I still do love, but it's different now, because before I believe that I was trying to escape something. And now I'm like, I don't feel like I'd be wanting to escape my house. Listen, sitting here right here with this video right here, like for some, you may not get it. For those who get it, sis, you get it. The joy that I'm getting right now from making this video, I keep looking at the time like, oh my God, like it's getting long. I need to stop it soon. There's joy in that. Like I get joy when I'm creating content. I was in a planning meeting with one of my clients and we're actually planning out 2025. I can't believe I'm having conversations with multiple clients about like next year. But anyway, this particular client talking about 2025, and she's just expressing, I love so much that you're here because I can tell you the things and you're like writing them out. You're helping me like get this stuff out, or even if it's just like questions that I ask, like it's just extracting out everything that we need. And she's like, wow, we got a lot done. It was only 2 hours and we got all this done for the program for next year. And so it's just like, and I was nervous, y'all, because that actually, it was an in-person meeting. That was my first in-person meeting since coming back into the office. It really has getting back into my groove. And so I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna be. Like, then you don't want to like cry in the middle of like the meeting. So it's just like, it's really helpful for me to like immerse myself into work, but that the work is so intentional about my purpose. So with that being said, balancing business and responsibilities, because you take the time to be intentional about what you want to focus on. So I want to now give you a couple strategies to maintain business operations while you're grieving, while there's difficult times. So the first thing that I want to say, first thing that saved me, which is actually, it's not on my list. Why it's not on my list? Batching. I know some of y'all may hear the word batching. You may not believe this about Kiara Jones, the messaging content queen, but believe it or not, I used to hate that word too. And I'm talking more recent, like within the last like 2-3 years. I just started liking batching. And I know people are like, oh, it's because content and messaging comes so natural. Like I used to go live every single day. Like there's years where I went live every single day. There's years where I posted every single day, multiple times a day. Content has never been an issue with me. That's why like I'm like, okay, well now I just have my clients like, listen, just come into Money in the Message. Let me help you plan out content. Let me help you plan out messaging, because it comes so easy to me. Like I've never had to batch. I can just make it up right now and it makes money and it hits and all the things. And so I just really started batching, but really it's been YouTube that has truly pushed me and invited me to like own batching. And I am so grateful, y'all. I am so grateful. I never thought I would say that. If you go talk to team members of mine from the past, they'd be like, who is this Kiara right here? Because I thrived so much off of live stuff, because I just come up with it right now. But as I look at the next chapter of my life, me getting older, one, I want to sit down. I mean, I want to go live today. Two, I mean, this is not an order of priority. I'm just stating things. Motherhood, as I look to motherhood in the future, I may not be able to go live necessarily at that time, and I will be able to go live, but it's going to be on certain times and, based off like daycare, all that type of stuff. And so it's like energy, like myself, looking at my family structure, but then also thinking about, not intentionally thinking about things like this that happen, but unknowingly preparing for it. So thank goodness I actually had videos that took me up until the weekend I got back from my grandmother's funeral. So I did not have to think about my YouTube videos and content at all. So y'all, batching what you can. And so what I want to invite you into is, when coaches would talk to me about batching, it was kind of this like, just batch it so that you could be visible more. Understanding I am batching because I am preparing for future me is a different energy. I am batching right now for future mom me. I am batching right now for, I don't know, grief me. I am batching right now for days where maybe you have health issues. I have clients who have certain health issues where like diseases that you have flare-ups and stuff, like sickle cell and lupus and things like that. And so there's times where you just don't have the energy, or migraines, right? There's times where you don't have the energy or whatever. So you want to go ahead and batch things so that when you have the energy, go ahead and do it, and then it's done. Okay. So number one, get your batch bank up. If you are in Money in the Message, we're going to be working on your batch bank. Okay, it's a bank of content you're going to batch. We're going to be working on that. And if you want to work on it now, just come to our next call this week. Or if you're a VIP member, just go ahead and DM me so that we can start working on yours. The next thing is, connected with batching is also repurposing. So understand that you have so much content from the past you could repurpose. You also can take content and find multiple ways to use that particular content. So if you need more, let me know what questions you have on batching and on repurposing, because maybe I need to do separate videos on that. Of course, if you're a member of the program, come in for coaching, and instead of like me just telling you some tips, we can like break yours down. I'll show with you, like literally last week I was talking to one of our members, and hey, here is 6 things. I would break it up like this to turn that into like 20, whatever that is. Now I'm going to talk about like, okay, so now what about the stuff that's like happening now, right? I didn't pre-schedule stuff. So I am going to say prioritize. I came and sat down and I divided my business into 3 sections. And for me at this time, it is YouTube delivery for my programs, YouTube and marketing delivery for my programs, and then marketing sales. Marketing sales, some people put them in the same bucket, some people don't. My point though is there are 2 levels, right? And so you market something and then you want to sell it. So making sure that you have marketing and sales in there somewhere. But yeah, YouTube and content, which is all within marketing, YouTube content marketing, right? And then delivering my services, my programs, my offers to my clients, and then client delivery, program delivery, and then or program execution and sales. And I was like, everything else, not a priority right now. So PR may not, that would fall under marketing, but that may not be a priority right now. YouTube, staying consistent and staying to my commitment I gave myself for this year to that is really important to me. Creating marketing content based off of those core YouTube videos is really important to me right now. Delivering in my programs is top notch, number one, right? Delivering to my money in the message members, delivering to my mindset membership members, delivering to my intensive clients and my VIP clients is really important to me. Being in that space where you prioritize things is really important. And I will tell y'all, my friend told me this about motherhood, but I'm seeing this with grief too. I'm just going to call this whenever you have a transition in life. I feel like it invites you to realize, oh, I don't have enough time for that. I only have enough time for this. Or like, here's the 10 things I would love to get done, but here's the 2 that I need to get done. I found myself putting out certain curriculum and trainings that I had on my list for a while, but like, okay, I'm just going to put this out so it's out there for 2 weeks. Versus like before, I would be in this perfection like space of like, okay, I need to think about this. I need to think about that. I got to tweak this. This isn't perfect. And I was like, nope, we're going to put it out imperfect. And that's totally fine, because the biggest thing is that it starts creating shifts, which literally I saw a client, a member of Money in the Message put out yesterday, or like within the last, don't quote me on which, either yesterday or 2 days ago, Friday maybe, because today's Monday. So some point in the last couple of days, that she just got her highest engagement from a piece of content that came from what we were coaching on. And I'm like, that is incredible. And that's amazing. And I forget if she's been in business, oh my God, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 2 to 4 years. I should know that number, but I know it's 2 to 4. She's been in business for some time. It feels really, really good to like see that, right? And so it's like, sometimes we're thinking stuff has to be perfect, but remember, I see messaging and content like this. My clients like, here, I'm just trying to get here. I don't need it up here. Just give it to me here. I'm trying to get up there. So that's a reminder for you too. Sometimes like the thing that you do that's really amazing, whatever it is that you do, you see it up here. You have this huge pedestal. You see it so big. You see all the things, and you forget that the people that are working with you are like, ma'am, I'm not up there. I'm just trying to get right here. Like, help me with step 1. You want step 10, sis. I don't need step 10. And so I find myself, even years, 8 years full time, I still have those moments. So prioritize tasks, but also prioritize like what's really needed and what's not. And I feel like times like this require, like, it literally demands you to do it. Also, delegate. Seek support from team members, from colleagues. Literally, I have 2 people on my team who, for whatever reason, I did not connect. There should have been another team member on the meeting that we had last week, but it's okay. We'll have to bring them into the second one, because I felt like it was important for the 3 of us to meet, and then we'll bring the 4th person in. But there was 2 team members in particular. I've connected 2. So there's 2 team members that are connected and 2 team members that are connected. I just connect people based off like, hey, you 2 support these projects, so you 2 need to be connected. You 2 support these projects, you 2 need to be connected. But then these last 2, I didn't connect. Why didn't I connect them? Don't ask me why. But I was going to, because when we came back from vacation, we were going to have a total team meeting, and I had them do a certain assignment, both of them do a similar assignment, and we were going to come together to merge them. So anyway, when I was driving down with the services for my grandmother, do y'all know I went ahead and was, hey, I need to make a chat with the 2 of you, because I don't know why I haven't connected you, and here's why I need to connect you. It forced me in that moment. I have been spending weeks like, okay, yep, I'm going to connect the 2 of you. I want to review both of your projects, because I wanted to review them before we like merge them together. And it was like, nope, imperfect. Nope, it's okay. We're merged, blah, blah, blah. And they were, because I knew what we needed to execute between YouTube and stuff like that. Like, I was like, y'all are going to have to handle it. So delegate to your team, build a team that you trust, even if it's starting with 1 person. I've had one VA who turned to be like my digital manager since 2017. Be okay with like starting with 1. I'm a believer in a small but mighty team. I don't want a huge team. I know I'm sitting here saying team. I don't desire a huge team. I have clients who love teams and all that. I don't desire a huge team. I like small and mighty. I like intimate. I love when I can, like, when I know this person. I love that, like, we say I love you, and I don't feel like you have to say that to your team members. And I don't say that to all my team members. There are a couple that have been with me where I'm like, I love you, or they tell me, Kira, I love you, or like, my team member from 2017, I love you. Team. I can do a video. If you want me to do a sit down and talk to you about my journey with team, I can, because Kiara today is not Kiara from last year, is not Kiara from 2017. All these years, like, it has taken me time with team, and that goes back to my self-regulation with like not asking for help, thinking I have to do everything by myself. Like, I would literally invest in teams and not use them, and I'm just paying you money, and I'm paying you like 4 figures, and I'm not using this. Like, what Kiera, what are you doing? Why are you wasting that money? What are you doing? It's taken me a long time to be where I am with teams. Like even when I look at, because these two team members are newer. So these are my two newest team members. My other two have been with me for like years. These two, they're newer. We've been working together for a couple months. Even how the hiring process for them, I was so proud of myself. I was so proud of myself. And that's been Mastermind Sisters. That's been other team members of mine. Shout out to Alicia, the Impact Mentor. She has been by my side for years, and she has been not like friend from a friend angle and from a team member angle. Like here, like you need to allow this or you need to allow that. And so that has been so helpful. She's all about operations and funnels. She's great. Create a flexible schedule. There's two things. Some of this, it's like I would recommend you have these things in place already so that you don't need to go put it in. And then sometimes emergencies happen, you just have to put them in. What I mean by that is I didn't even know, but now I know. I knew I was building my business model to prepare me for like motherhood and things like that. But seeing this happen, I'm so grateful. I have built a business model. So definitely look at your business model, look at your offerings to see what fits in your schedule. What I mean by that is like if I had an extreme one-on-one schedule when this happened, I would have been having to cancel all these one-on-ones. But my business model right now primarily is I have select VIP clients. I have a couple, like I do intensives a couple times a month. So some women are like, here, I want my next level message in one day. I don't want to spend months on this, a year on this. I want one day. I had the most amazing intensive literally the day before my grandmother passed. It was incredible. And I had one that day too. I had two back to back. One of them I had to reschedule, but the other one I was able to have before. And it was incredible. And so those intensives, they allow us to sit down over a couple hours, work on what we have to work on, and we're done. And my clients love them because they can copy and paste from what we create in the intensive. Having that type of model has worked for me because it's flexible. I don't have to spend months and months and months and months. I can just like get you what you need. And then there's also a VIP level of the intensives where you can actually get some done for you elements where I'm actually going to make you like a message in the box at the time of this recording. Reach out, if you go to the application page to kierajones.com/application, you just fill that out and you answer those questions. We will send you a breakdown of like what we offer and happy to let you know where we are on if we have intensives available now, or if there's a wait list or whatever, and we can give you pricing and all that stuff. But those are like the women who like, Kiera, just do it for me type of thing. I have those intensives, and then I have my group programs. I have two main group programs, a mindset membership, and then I have my money in the message, which is like mindset, messaging, sales strategy, all of Kiera's coaching. There's no limit. Kiera's coaching you in money in the message. The mindset membership is like, we're just talking mindset. No sales, no strategy, no messaging, no content, no visibility, strategy stuff, only mindset stuff that's going on. So I have those two group programs. And so I'm so grateful for those because like I said, I was able to like coach on those programs. And actually I have 1 week where we don't have a call, but we have a clinic, which is when you submit your messaging and content to me to review and I give you feedback. And so that happened to be the week that everything fell on, or one of the weeks. And so I didn't have to reschedule any group program calls. Had it been, I would have, but just worked out that I didn't. So these are just my examples of how I have built a flexible schedule. That's helpful for you if you are a mother. That's helpful for you if you are having grief, if you have sicknesses, if you have difficult things going on. Take a look at your offers and your business model and just get them set up in a space that is going to accommodate your schedule. And maybe there's some mindset stuff for you coming up on that, but the reality is what's going to allow you to be at the best so that you can serve your clients at the best. My clients will not be served at the best if I am like rushing to pick up a kid from daycare, if I'm rushing because I am having sickness, some issue happen, or I'm scheduling calls during a time where I know flare-ups happen, or like whatever. And I know that those things are unpredictable. I know that. And so that is also why you should have some type of like emergency load template, a template of an email, or even an emergency automation where, and I talked about this on our coaching call too, something you can copy and you or your team can copy and paste, or you can just like send out like, hey, I need to reschedule this call. I'm so sorry. We have an emergency. Here's a link where you can reschedule. So that's an option. And then I'm gonna give you another tip that I also gave the clients in the program. Create like an emergency little folder maybe, right? And so what are things that your people can be working on if you ever have that happen? Like, hey, I need to reschedule our call, but I want you to go to this lesson and do this lesson, do this homework for our next call, or like whatever it is. It could be a training, could be a module, could be a worksheet, it could be a video you want them to watch, some assignment that you want to give them, something that helps them, that gets support while they are like, waiting for you, or insert team in that case as well. So letting a team, like I know I have two close friends who I have, my clients have worked with, and their clients have worked with me, or I've worked with them or whatever, or they've been on my team or something. They know enough about me. I know enough about them. They know my style where like they could coach for me if it was like an emergency, and they totally offer, to me. So, have friends in your space like that, or have team members in your space like that. So I'll say to, I'll have my team member post something or ask somebody to help me if I really needed it. So, you want to have that. Take necessary breaks, which goes along with the flexibility. If you need a break, take a break. I'm okay with like, okay, I got 2 videos recorded today and I got a client call that I had today, and that's it. 2 videos and I had a 2-hour meeting. That's what I had done today. And then I talked to my grandmother, my grandfather. I talked to my grandfather, and I talked to my mom today. I went to the store. I made breakfast. Dinner's done because we had lasagna last night. We having leftovers. I can hear Mike downstairs now. I'm about to go hang out with him. Be okay with breaks. Sometimes I love us, not a sometimes. I love a slow morning. Ain't no sometimes, all the time. I love a slow morning. I'm okay with like, I played a little video game, like 10 minutes of a video game this morning while I was drinking a cup of tea. Some mornings I'm listening to a podcast. Like, I'm totally okay with the fact this has always been, but especially in this season, I'm going to give myself breaks. There's something shifting with me, and it already was happening. That's why I have to emphasize, when I stepped into this year, I already knew like I want to prepare myself as a business owner to be a mom. I want to prepare myself to be more of a homemaker. Can you be a homemaker and be an entrepreneur? I don't know. Y'all see the term homemaker on YouTube, and I literally, y'all, I've been watching videos about women like baking bread. It's so, I have to do another video on this, but all I can say right now is the level of safetyness I feel in my life, I've never felt before. And it feels really weird that like, why didn't you feel that before? I believe it's a combination of things. It's a combination of my relationship. It's a combination of my home. It's a combination of me knowing I'm doing my work that I'm supposed to be doing. It's also this combination of just where I'm at in life and my age. It's just a combination where God has me. And so this safetyness, like, I just never felt this safe to be so present to a man before. And men that I was present to in the past weren't worthy of it and didn't deserve it. And I didn't understand the difference because I would just give it all to them. Learning that it was safe. Like, I felt myself holding back with Mike, but understanding that it's safe, it has been big. And I know it's through therapy work. That's what I'm saying. It's a combination of things, but it has created this space where I feel safe and excited about motherhood in a way that I never had before. I feel safe and excited about, like, why am I watching about baking bread? I don't even know if I'm gonna bake the bread. I probably will. I want to try it, but I find them to be very soothing videos. And my grandmother wasn't an extreme, like, my grandmother definitely, she worked, she had a side hustle of her own business as a hairstylist. She was a fashionable woman. I get all of my like shopping love from her, for sure. For sure. We went to clean out my grandmother's closet. She had gotten sick. Like, when she first got sick and went to rehab, literally a year ago, March of 2023, we all went to her house to clear out her closet. Y'all, we had bags of, like, it took us two and a half days, but really my mother added in a whole day where my mother worked for 24 hours and did not sleep. My mom, she is like clean freak. Which I'm, it's awesome, but she, like, when we don't do something perfect enough for her, she got to go back. But we have bags and bags and bags. Like, I'm talking about, my car was full of stuff 2 or 3 times. My aunts both have SUVs. Their cars were full of stuff. It was a lot. Okay. Probably lost 5 pounds that weekend. And y'all, when we went again, now that my grandmother has passed, to her house, there was still 3 or 4 bags of clothes. And we were like, where did these clothes come from? Because we don't even remember seeing this stuff back then. So it's just been like, I don't remember seeing this shirt for sure. Giving me very island vibe. I'll have to make sure I pack it. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. So what am I talking? So yes, that's her love of clothes and shopping and all the things. My love, that's what I have for you for right now. I am so grateful for you. If you got to the end of this video, I am so grateful that you spent this time with me. I am so grateful that you were present to me. I'm so grateful for your love to me. I am so grateful for whatever this video is going to do for you. I am so grateful that it is going to inspire you. It's going to give you an idea. It may make you cry. Something may make you laugh. Something may make you motivated. Whatever you are meant to get from this, I pray right now that you get it. I pray right now that every single person watching this, woman, man, whomever you are, however you identify, I pray that this video covers you. I pray that it guides your heart to know what is the next step. And you don't need to know the next 10 steps. Just honor whatever you are feeling called to right now. Honor whatever you are feeling right now. Do not feel alone. Know that you are not alone in what you are experiencing. Know that you can do hard things. Know that you can have hard moments. Know that they are temporary and that the next moment will come. And those moments of grief and sadness and sorrow and pain and all the things, they will come, they will come, they will come, but they do not have to stay. They don't have to stay and become planted and seated and rooted in you. They are moments. As a human being, we get to experience them, and then we get to move into the next thing. In Jesus' name, I pray that. I pray that. I pray that over myself, over you. So with that being said, make sure that you share this video with a biz bestie, a mastermind sister, a friend, just a sister who needs to hear it. No matter what her grief or her loss may be, if it's a shift, it doesn't have to be death, right? It just could be if she's in a difficult time in her business, right? If she's in a place of transition, if you are in a place of transition, share that with us below. Don't carry that burden alone. Let us know what's been helping you too. Let us know what's coming up for you. Let us support you. I want to let myself be supported. Hi, I'm Kiera. I'm a recovering self-regulator, high-achieving woman, independent, and I desire softness. I desire ease. I desire to be supported. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, love, shine, and success in life, business, and everything in between. Grandma, we love you. And look at that. Your legacy is helping others. It's so funny. I forgot to share this story. I showed my grandmother that last time I saw her a YouTube video, because there is a YouTube video that we have where I had inserted things about my grandmother. It was about comparison. So check that video out next. And I showed her a clip where she was in it and she was laughing. And I said, Grandma, you're not going to sue me, are you? Because I didn't ask you if you could be in my YouTube video. And she started laughing. And so I feel like, and these are amongst those, like the questions I wish I had got to ask her, things I wish I had talked to her about. Like, I wish I had interviewed her for YouTube. Like, but it wasn't for YouTube. It was just like so that I could have this and my children could see this and their children maybe could see it. I don't know how long this is going to be around, right? So, but we could have it, you know, but we have so many videos of her. So, but I do wish I had had real woman conversations with her. Like, gosh, I was going to say that I feel like for her, there's this level of something else that I feel she wanted to be. And that's where I see why I also have to show up, because I'm showing up for her. As vocal as she was there, she didn't have a YouTube back then. There's a level of visibility I get to have for her. And so she got to have a little bit today, because there's a lesson that she taught me that was expressing this in some way, and that will be, and it got to touch others. Linda's lessons. So don't forget to comment Linda's lessons if you do desire to be a part of any masterclass that I offer to my members, where I kind of go into some of the visibility mindset stuff that I talked about, kind of that lineage part of our visibility. All right, loves. Bye.